afternoon, everyone. My name's Chris Cooper, known as the Channel Guy Trader, and I'm reporting to you live from Wall Street Trading's Miami office down in sunny South Florida. Today's date is Saturday, January the 11th, 2014, and here is this week's weekend review brought to you by WallStreetTrading.com. Want to first say, hope you guys are having a great weekend so far. We got a lot of things to cover. Again, this is a weekend review, so we'll be going over all the different sectors. I'll try to make sure I talk about the sectors, and when I'm going over the sectors, that I show the charts for the different stocks that we're focusing on in that sector as well, just to keep things a little more organized. So, make sure you just watch the whole video. If you do like the analysis, please like and share the video. At the same time, if you have not been to our website yet, go check it out, wallstreettrading.com. A lot of informative information there on the site in regards to education, technical analysis stuff, definitions, words, a whole bunch of stuff in the blog section there. And at the same time, if you're interested in taking our education course or joining our proprietary trading firm, you can contact us as well via the button on the upper right hand side of the website. So let's go ahead and get into this weekend review video. We're going to start by taking a look at the weekly and daily charts of different key markets and indices and sectors here. So we're starting off with the S&P 500 via the ETF, the spiders. You can see we're still holding pretty nice here on the weekly chart. One thing to take note of is this nice little upward channel that we've been trading in since the beginning, since pretty much the beginning of 2012 here, and we broke above the top of the channel, and so far last year back here in December, they were respecting that level at the top of the channel, and we carved out a decent support level around 178. So 178 is a key level to watch because it's the back test of the upward channel there, and it's also the area where we were consolidating here, and we broke out of that level there. So you definitely want to make sure you keep an eye on this range. So if we were to sell off 178 and this 181, 182, call it top of that range, is a good level to work off of. You can see this week we bounced off that 182 level right there. So let's go and take a look at the daily chart. I have a little bit more drawings on this chart right here. Same thing, upward channel, a little bit different from the upward channel that I have drawn on the weekly. All right, but same thing. We try to break the upper part of the channel there. We fell back in. However, one thing to take note of is this move that we had right here from this big range that we traded in, which I don't have highlighted. Let me see. Let me go ahead and highlight another range right here. So this is a nice little range we have that we broke out of on top of the other range that we had right here that we broke out of. I'm going to go ahead and highlight those two to make it a little bit different so you can see what I'm referring to. So actually, let me change it a little more dark here. So we got the one range on top of the other range. All right, so we had this little range consolidation right here. We broke out, then we consolidated in another range on top of that right there. Broke out, put a nice little higher pivot low from the breakout, well, from this nice little move up right here. So we got a higher pivot low in, and you can see I drew some Fibonacci extensions from that little ABC move right here. 1, 2, 3. All right, and we're going to be using that this point, this pivot point, and this pivot point as our extensions, our 3 points for the extension targets. And you can see it's basically the distance of this move right here gets added to the distance of that move right there, and that 100% target, if that was to actually play out, would be up here towards 189.50. Sometimes you usually make it to the 61.8% retracement. The market's not strong enough. We'll usually have a tough time getting to that level. So I'm going to be focusing on the 38.2, 184.87, call it 185, which also kind of lines up with this little high that we had over here at the end of the year. And then we have the 61.8 around 186, and then the 100% around 189.43 up there towards that 190 level, which will be equivalent to like 1900 on the S&P 500 futures, the E-minis there. So that's something we're watching out for. You can see the moving averages are trading sideways. We've been trading this little range right here, just chopping around. However, they have been buying those dips. They did buy those dips this week, so we have to see if that continues next week. If we break below the 183 level, then we can look at the 182 level as a decent area to see if those buyers come in and support that level there. All right, so some good stuff right there, and you can see the ES action on the daily just to show you how that's looking. It looks like it wants to start making its way back up to retest the highs that we made on the last day of 2013 there. So looking at the triple Qs, let's go and take a look at the top-down approach. I would look at the monthlies with you guys, but to kind of make this video a little bit shorter than usual, I want to go ahead and just show you guys the weeklies and the dailies. So the weekly chart, same thing here. We had a nice little upward channel. We broke the top of that upward channel, and so far we've just been cruising along the 8 and 5 EMA on the weekly of the triple Q, which is the NASDAQ 100 ETF here. You can see we're holding some support. This was resistance around the 86 area, and we held that 86 area this week, or that level, I should say. Nice little upward channel on the daily chart here as well. These higher pivot lows, these higher pivot highs, which is the definition of uptrend. So we have a nice little channel uptrend, and as long as price action respects the bottom of that trend line, we want to keep on buying these dips. We also have the 20-day moving average right there supporting price as well. And in general, we're still trading in a range. I mean, let me go ahead and highlight a new range that I see right here. Take this little action right there, and I could go ahead and highlight a new range on the NASDAQ 100 here. So higher pivot level, right? Consolidation, breakout, consolidation. Excuse me about that. Sorry about that. So consolidation, breakout, pulled back in, back test held, and now we're looking to move back higher there. Watch this 88 level, as that's going to be the next trigger for more longs to try to get involved, possibly for a move towards the top of that channel right there. So that's looking pretty decent. IWM, the Russell 2000, as well, looking pretty good here. You can see, let's go ahead and look at the weekly chart first. You can see the Russell 2000 is in this nice upward channel. All right, looking pretty good. Just cruising along with moving averages, pretty nice and steady. Looking at the daily chart, we have a nice little upward channel that we could draw in right there that I've been showing you guys. And like I've been explaining to you guys before, we have a big channel, 50% trend line of that channel. You can see price respected that trend line, also which was right below, and which was also right on top of the 20-day moving average right there. And now we have a possible compression pattern that's forming from this little action right there from the 50% channel line and this high that we made around 116. So we continue to trade sideways to high. If we break past that level, we see that volume come in. This could be a nice little momentum trade for a move back up, for a move up to new highs, new all-time highs on the Russell and up here towards the top of that channel. All right, that's what we're going to be looking for. And let's go ahead and take a look at the Dow Jones, right? The ETF, the DIA. Dow Jones weekly chart had a down week here, so we had two consecutive lower closes on the Dow Jones, but really you can see the price action has just been trading sideways or closing sideways around this 165 area, and we're still, we're above the breakout level around 156. Still have this little higher pivot low that's holding from back here in December, second week of December. So the Dow, is showing a little bit of weakness to other indices. However, a lot of people of course watch the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ and the Russell a lot more than they do the Dow. So not really taking much of this into consideration right now. You can see we're trading sideways again. Little range action going on, so upward movement, range action. If we were to break this level right here, of course these people will be trapped in some long positions, so they may start dumping. Then if we had some more sellers come in the market, that could bring a lot of supply and knock us down a bit. But until we see some weakness and some real levels break here, I'm not really looking for that. Or I say if we start breaking, holding below the 20-day moving average that we've been chopping around here, trading back and forth above. So that's what we're looking out for. Let's go ahead and take a look at the currency action. Looking at the dollar got knocked down on Friday. You can see the dollar's having trouble breaking above this 81.50 area, 81.40, 81.30. So kind of like a little triple top here from that little gap down that we had back here around the September the 16th of last year. So this is pretty much our range that we're working off of, the 81.40 and 79 area. Downward channel that broke out, pulled back in, then rallied back up. So we're going to be looking for this to maybe come down back towards the $80 level there. If that happens, we're going to be watching these commodities. We're going to watch to see what the commodities do. Starting off with crude oil. All right, you can see crude oil is getting a nice little bounce here in this little area, and it looks like it has some short-term support, possibly this little double bottom, and did have a nice little extension move down. A lot of selling, so some sellers may be out of this. Again, the probability of getting short right here and making money is really not in your favor, so you're going to get a nice little bounce back up. Some people looking to cover their shorts, some longs looking to get involved here. So we'll see how the crude oil plays out. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the other currency. Of course, if the dollar's getting weak, we're going to say euro dollar catch a bid, and you can see that happen on Friday. One thing that I that I see on the dollar is this nice little upward channel that we have in right here. All right, so we're gonna be watching this upward channel. If that holds, we have these little matching highs, resistance. This could be a nice little compression pattern that's forming as well. So we want to see how that plays out. And give me 1 second. All right, guys, sorry about that. So we have this nice little upward channel on the euro dollar, and we have these matching highs around the 138 level. So if we do continue to see that dollar weakness and this euro dollar catch a bid, we're still making these higher pivot lows, right? These higher pivot highs. All right, so let's see. The euro may catch a bid, and if that does happen, we definitely wanted to possibly catch that. Maybe trading the euro futures, a 6E contract, or maybe trading the spot euro, as we do have some guys that trade forex in our office. However, euro dollar looking strong. Let's go and take a look at that volatility index, which looks like it's ready to break back down below 12. You can see these lower highs, the little trend line right there. You can also start maybe drawing a little duplicated, little not a duplicated, a little downward channel. And I don't know if we break below all the support we have around 12, then we're going to be looking at the $11 level there. If we break below 11, then we could really get some selling on the VIX, which I would assume that means the markets are going to break out for another move higher. And pretty soon they're going to catch a bid in volatility. But right now, again, you guys know every rally gets shorted. And what is this possibly telling us that we're going to go up for the remainder of the first quarter? We'll see. So that's what we're looking out for as well. What else? Let's go and take a look at a couple sectors. All right, looked at crude oil. Let me finish going through the commodities here real quick. Gold got a nice little bounce last week. Looking at the weekly chart, possible double bottom against this 1200 level. You can see we're trying to break back with this key trend line that we had from the 2011 high right there that we made back in October. And that'll be a little bit bullish if we go down there. It's a long-term trend line. All right, then we could possibly make a move back up towards the 1280 area, maybe even in the I wouldn't get too excited about saying 1340 yet, but this little prior support we broke down to this resistance around the 1265, 1270 area. I want to see what the price actually does around that level if it gets there. Looking at the daily chart, all right, same thing here. We're trying to break back inside that long-term channel that we have marked. Got to bring up a 2-year daily chart. You can see this nice little long-term channel that we've been tracking here. You can see that's been respecting. Nice little inverted cup in handle that broke down there. Try to rally back in the channel, we failed. Try to rally back in the channel again, we failed. And now, we bounced off this little double bottom area, and we're trying to break back, possibly back towards that channel. If we do break in that channel and hold, I would be expecting gold to get a nice little bounce, and maybe this could in fact be a nice little short-term bottom in gold. Silver is already breaking inside that channel, which I'm going to show you here shortly. But gold looks like it wants to trade up towards 1265, 1270 area next week. If it does get toward around that level there, and it breaks above it, you want to watch the 1290 area. This nice little consolidation we had right here before we broke down. Back test held, moved down again. Taking a look at silver futures. I like to look at these charts over the actual ETFs. Silver futures. This is the long-term channel I have right here. I'll show you guys why this little consolidation I've been explaining to you guys is important. Because if you look at the nice little channel, you can see it's actually respecting this out of this big channel right here. It's actually respecting the upper 1/4 of that channel, right? You have your big channel, then you have your lower channels down here, and you have your upper channels down here. Then of the upper channel, you have even another upper channel, that bigger upper channel that we have. So a little part of the channel system that I do when I run intraday, when I'm looking at intraday stocks, see if they have any channels that could be that they're respecting or anything like that. But anyway, so the silver trade's going back above this key trend line from that little channel range. If we start holding above this little trend line right here that I'm watching, and we break above 2050 and hold, I do think silver could get a nice bounce. And actually, to be honest with you guys, silver has been trading a little bit stronger than gold technically, in my opinion. So we'll see if the silver does actually get a nice little break. I'm already seeing a lot of the silver miners move up. If you guys recall, we talked about PAAS about a month or so ago, back down here around 1050, and I remember because I got my old man to buy some shares right there. So PAS from that 1050 call, which I also wrote it on the blog site. Now it's looking on the up and up, broke above the range, back test held at 1124 level, rallied back up, came back another higher pivot low right in front of that range, and now it looks like it's going to give a nice little momentum trigger long if it takes out this 1210 area. So keep an eye on that name right there. Let me take a look at the 60-minute chart real quick. 60-minute chart looks pretty good. 50-minute chart, see nice little upward trend starting to take place there. So watch that stock. You can also watch SLW, another silver miner. All right, you have EXK, which is a little low price silver miner, which actually looks pretty good as well. Nice little leg up that could take shape there. And then you have CDE, which doesn't look as strong as the other ones. Now GDX, the gold mining juniors, GDXJ, had a nice little move last week. This is going to be a possible ABC move right here. We'll have to be on the lookout for this move if that does happen. GDX, same thing. Remember, the GDXJ is the gold mining juniors. GDX, if it breaks back above this 22.25 level, I think anybody that got short pretty much below that break, you can see we've been trading sideways. They really haven't been able to capture a nice gain as the short sellers that got involved right here. So therefore, if gold was to get a bounce, those people will be looking to cover, I'm sure, for maybe a break even or a small loss. And then if other buyers start to come in the market, recognizing that this is a possible little short-term bottom, because we do have a nice little support level around the 2050 area. Nice move up, little pullback, higher pivot low against this level right here. If we break over 2250 or so, we can catch some momentum. So keep an eye on the gold miners. All right, we kind of missed them on Friday in the chat room. I talked about watching them, but I didn't even get a chance to trade them. But they did get a nice little follow through. Remember, it's never too late to join the party. Actually, it's better to be a little bit late than early, like everybody says, which is very true. So keep an eye on the gold miners. Maybe next week if they do get a nice little push through the 2221 level on the GDX, we could take a look at a couple of those names here. GG Gold Corp up 78 cents. All right, nice little rounding bottom, possibly forming right here. Gap up at the start of the year. Little flag right there. Nice little breakout. So GG looks pretty good. Newmont Mining, which has been in the news a little bit lately, looking not that good. I actually like AEM, looks a little bit better. You can see AEM's been trading this nice little range here between 2250 and 28. They actually did like a little shakeout right here, little bear trap below that level. But higher pivot lows, higher pivot highs, a little short-term uptrend could possibly be taking shape here. You could draw a nice little upward channel like this or so. But keep it on the 28 level. A break over 28 would look pretty good. If these miners start catching a lift, that would be a go-to trade. Let's see what else. Some of you guys like to trade the small ones. AUY, which is really not doing anything right now. It's trading sideways down there. Tekla Mining has a breakout level with 320. ABX, which has been trading a little bit stronger, I think, compared to other names. And then you have RGLD, Royal Gold, which actually looks pretty good. I'm actually going to write this one down. The gold miners get a bounce. You want to take a look at this one, RGLD. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about the next sector here, the financials, XLF. All right, it looks a little bit slow on the daily chart. You can see they've been grinding higher. You got a little nice little, from this little gap up right here, you have this little trend line you could draw in. And then you have like another accelerated trend line that's just been going up pretty fast there. So this is a daily chart. Nice little tight upward channel. All right, that's inside of another bigger upward channel. Let me go ahead and draw that in. Let me see here. So we're going to take this little trend line. So we're going to take this little trend line from this little gap up that we had back on the 10th September. Sorry, October. So this low, we could draw that in. I'll go ahead and duplicate this. Nice little upward channel right there. And then we have a nice little upward channel that's inside of that channel as well. I'll go ahead and highlight that one. All right, so we're going to be watching these financials. Maybe if we get to the top of this channel, we see some selling pressure. Or maybe they want to push up to that trend line that I have right there. On the weekly chart, big upward channel. You can see that I have drawn in. All right, well, that's the same exact one I have copied on the daily chart. The upward channel level around there is around, let's say, 2275 or so. So how are the financials looking? Well, a couple of them are looking pretty good. Oops. Let's see. Take a look at the daily chart. Some of these regional financials have been shaping up pretty nice. Regions Financial, has a breakout over 1052. It's a little bit extended from the breakout level around 991 here. If it does catch some momentum, you can see a nice little, these moving averages are shaping up pretty nice. They have earnings coming out in about 2 weeks or so. You see 2 weeks or next week? Yeah, so not next month, not next week, not this Monday. I mean, but the following Monday. So keep an eye on not the Monday coming up. I mean, sorry about that. So Regis Financial, keep an eye on this name here. You can also take a look at FITB, another little regional bank that's been gaining some nice momentum. All right, FITB actually just breaking out this nice little consolidation range. So holding above 2120, would actually be pretty nice there. So keep an eye on that name. So financials, JP Morgan, this one actually looks like it needs some consolidation. If it breaks back below the 58 level, think about it as all these people that are buying above 58, they're going to be trapped in a long position. So keep an eye on JP Morgan. It's still trading inside of the big sell bar that it had on Tuesday. That could possibly be a short if the market does sell off and the financials are weak. The financials were a little bit weak on Friday. If you didn't notice that, they were kind of one of the weaker sectors out there until the market caught a nice little bid, and then they bounced right back up, a couple of them. So Goldman Sachs, inside day, of Thursday's range. Nothing really much to talk about here. It broke above this 177 resistance level, and so far it's been holding above it. All right, that could be a little key inflection point on it. Below 177, short above it, holding above it. Buy the dips or stay long. So keep an eye on that key level. And Bank of America, which has been the bank with all the momentum in it, of course, it's doing pretty good here. Our little Fibonacci extension still holding. And the next target for the full move of this leg up would be up here around $17.25. All right, let's go and take a look at Wells Fargo. Hanging in there. Morgan Stanley. Waiting for Morgan Stanley to see what it's going to do here. Same thing for Morgan Stanley, right? We've got a little compression pattern going on from these little matching high resistance levels here and this little 50% trend line that's holding. If we were to break below this 50% trend line, this 31 level, we'll be looking for a move towards the bottom of the channel. They have earnings coming out on Friday, so it's going to be pretty interesting to watch the stock. Make sure you take note of that earnings date. What's another group we're watching? Oh, real quick, since we talked about the metals, the XME as well as breaking over this little consolidation. It rallied up, it's pulling back, and that's why I think we could possibly see a little bounce of these metals if this little bottoming tail holds. You can see we flashed below Thursday's lows, and then we rallied all the way back up and closed like in the, I would say, just close to about the 50% range of that bar. Not quite, but close enough. Let's go ahead and take a look at the retail stock. I'm sorry, not the retail stocks, but the home builders, since we're talking financials. Retail stocks. The XHB, the home builders, has this nice little rising wedge on it. All right, has a nice little channel. At the top of that channel, if you draw another trend line, you can see a little rising wedge. Let me take off the studies here. You can see what I'm talking about. So, they can still have a nice little move to the top side, but do want to take note of this little rising wedge. So if that does break down, again, we have all this space right here, so we could, in fact, just trade sideways to higher, and then maybe even just cancel that out. So we'll see how that plays out. I'm seeing a lot of those names catch a nice little bid, starting off with PHM, Pulte Homes, or Pulte Group. Nice little breakout over $20.50. Nice little higher pivot low put in right there. You can take a look at KBH. Toll Brothers, Lennar, all these names look pretty good. Toll Brothers holding about 37 looks pretty good. All right. What are some other names we're watching? The retail stocks popped up today. I don't really want to touch base on them that much. But it's retail, the XRTs in a range, but a couple of those names are popping up, like KSS, some of these discount retail stores. KSS, nice little move on Friday. You have TJ Maxx, which has a breakout. If you can hold above the 64 level, you catch a nice little move there. You can see it's been trading in a range, so there is some built up energy here if it wanted to go. What else? DG. All right. You can see that one looks pretty good. Looks like there's some momentum there. Keep an eye on DG for a break over 63. Big, long, powerful bars there. So there's definitely some buyers there, and some nice volume that's been coming in. So keep an eye on this name, DG. Lulu. This could be a nice little momentum trade. Of course, Lulu's got smashed pretty hard here from the earnings release. You can see a little possible short-term bottom against this 57 level. If we continue to hold above, if Lulu holds above 59, I would say you could try to buy against that level. What's to gap up and sell off a little bit. Try to pick it up towards 59. You can see 59 is a key inflection point on it here. All right, what else? What other sectors we want to talk about here? MOO, the agriculture stocks have been doing pretty well. They're starting to shape up a little bit. They've been on the news a lot this week, so you definitely want to keep an eye on them. You can see MOO, the Agriculture ETF's been trading in a range here between 54.50 and 53. If this thing gets a nice little breakout, we could probably catch a nice momentum sector move there. CF has already been taking the lead. We talked about this stock last week, or earlier this week, I mean, and you can see this thing finally broke out. Big volume right here, pulled back, held that nice little bid around 225, and now this thing is off to the races, folks. Looks like it could go up towards, actually it's making all-time highs. So look at that stock, a lot of momentum. If that continues to happen, or if it continues to move higher, you're going to see a lot of people looking at the sector again. You're going to see a lot of guys talking about potash. I'm looking at potash for next week, especially if it breaks above Thursday's highs. That's going to be a nice little trade there. Monsanto had earnings this week, but really didn't do much. All right, sold off and still holding the 50-day moving average right here. Keep an eye on this name as well. Could be a little short-term higher pivot low right there. And let's see here, Mosaic. What is Mosaic doing? MOS. MOS not really doing much inside day. A little bit there of well, broke a little bit of Thursday's low, but not really doing much. They're closed inside of the prior day's range. We're seeing some action in the industrials. All right, let's take a look at the XLI. All right, XLI still hanging in there, trading in a range, but Caterpillar more or less is getting my attention. You see it, Caterpillar trading in this nice little range right here, which I'm going to highlight and fix up a little bit better once I'm done with the video. You can see Caterpillar trading in this nice little range, and it broke above the range, put a higher pivot low in front of that range, and now it's looking like it wants to go back up. Possible ABC move they're looking to happen, so keep an eye on Caterpillar. And if Caterpillar starts moving up, you want to watch the other industrial stocks like DE, which actually looks pretty good, which I remember us calling out to you all around this area right here. Then you have JOY Global. You can take a look at JOY, which doesn't look all that great. Down move, sideways consolidation. Could be a possible bear flag shaping up. So that's what we're looking at. Of course, we're looking at the social media stocks. Twitter's been getting smashed this week, or got smashed this week. Take a look at the weekly chart. You know, want to watch the 54 level if it was to get down there, which is $3 lower. Stock, the chart still looks like it has some downward momentum to it, so I wouldn't really be looking for it to be a buyer of this stock until it shows me. But Facebook, another social media stock here, looking pretty good. All right, this company, you know, they're doing some good stuff. A lot of people use Facebook, but aside from me talking all that crap I was about to talk there, we're gonna just go ahead and look at the charts. Technically, you know, weekly chart looks good. Daily chart looks good. Possible bull flag shaping up right here in the daily, upward movement, sideways action. Want to watch this 57 level. We break over 59. This thing could catch another move up, maybe towards that 65 area. LinkedIn has been trading pretty decent. You know, nice little shakeout below the 208 level. You see we're going back up, and we also have a nice little downward channel on this stock here. All right, let's go ahead and draw that in. So a slight little angle, and this one right here. And you can see, boom, we touched the bottom of that channel. They bought it right up. So keep an eye on LinkedIn. I like how that's shaping up. Let's take a look at Pandora. Pandora's looks pretty good as well. Pandora actually looks good for a trade on Monday if it triggers over Friday's highs. Just set my alert right there. And let's see, some technology stocks that look pretty good. VMW, nice little move here. Could be flagging for a break higher. All right, Oracle trading sideways, looking ready like it wants to move higher. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days inside this range between 37.50 and 38. And you can see on Friday it closed above 38 and a little bit higher volume than the previous day right there. So keep an eye on Oracle. And then CRM looks pretty good for a momentum trade. If it takes out this little 2-day high resistance right there, setting my alert above 57.15. I will be keeping a close eye on that one. So I'm talking about all these bullish stocks because, you know, I'm a fan of the long side right now, obviously. But if you want to take a look at some weak stocks, Chevron looks pretty weak, even though it's already down from 125, bounced off of 120. Netflix and Apple have been some weak stocks in the technology space. Netflix is sitting right on top of that 100-day moving average, simple and exponential right there. You can see if that balances on Monday, but it still looks weak. And the fact that it came a long way could definitely have some more downside momentum. They have earnings coming out in 2 weeks, and it looks like people are selling it a bit going into that earnings number. Apple coming back down towards that level I've been mentioning to you guys at the 526. Remember, this was a accumulation zone before, so if it does flash in this area, I wouldn't, be a fan of getting short down here in this area right here, as it could get some buyers looking to cover anybody that was short against this double top right here. All right, the odds are going to be less in your favor to the short side, the closer you get towards this little range, especially the closer you get towards the 513, 512 area. But it does look like it has some more downside. Again, JP Morgan, I talked about that. Tiffany's, a nice little engulfing candle here. Look for this one to get some more downside for breaks that little low. All right, especially if it breaks that low, because it's right at the pivot from 2 weeks ago. So if it breaks below 89.40 or so, it could get some action. That looks pretty weak. Broadcom BRCM. This one looks like it may get some action. This one trades like garbage, but it just picked up on my scan, so I wanted to bring it to you guys' attention. They do find, if the technology stocks do sell off, this would be a go-to technology stock to watch. Little short-term double top right here, and I would say it's its third time touching that 20-day moving average in a short amount of time there. So if it does break and hold, it could get some selling pressure. What else? That's about it, guys. I hope I covered some of the things you guys were looking at. You can also take a look at UNH. This one looks like it's pretty weak. They have earnings coming out next week. Some of these healthcare stocks have been in play. Some of them have been trading to the top side. Oh yeah, I want to make sure I talk about biotechs. KERX. Biotechs were on fire this week. KERX looks like as if it wants to go up towards 15. Watch this on Monday. BIIB has a breakout over 299, so call it over 300. Some of these stocks are in play, well, not some of them. A lot of them are in play here. Amgen looks pretty interesting. REGN, another biotech stock. Not doing anything. Orex, little cheap one. So there's some action out there. Q-Core. So that's about it, folks. Hope you guys are having a great weekend. And that's about it. Check out the website. Subscribe to the YouTube videos. And come check out our chat room, My Wall Street TV. Have a great day. Cheers.